Hey everyone, Sean here, and today I wanted to sit down and talk about my thoughts about Evo for 2022 after their reveal lineup was unveiled to the world as of recent, and I just wanted to get in my sort of 2 cents about it. And besides the games, there are some in-betweens that I do want to mention, or try to mention as well in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, as a reminder. And don't forget to hit the bell, so it really helps out, and I do appreciate you guys. So, alright, well, there are 9 games at Evo indeed, just like before, and this is going to be an offline event, so that's really neat. You know, trying to come back from the world sort of situation that is the pandemic. That was rough on, well, a lot of things, including the fighting game side of things. More specifically, the offline tournaments were pretty much on a standstill because obviously you want to stay safe and such. And Evo tried to do online, and didn't go as well as they wanted to, I'm sure, as well as it could have, that sort of thing. But well, we're here, we're back, and they're dead set on making this a offline event as a return to the norm of things, quote unquote, but with maybe with a refresh button being hit for some of the fighting games that have been mentioned here. But either way, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see of how things go, for sure, one way or the other. But of course, let's just get the games out of the way. Now, I'm going to try to remember the games right on top of my head, so bear with me here. So there's 9 of them, right? So we got let's see, so Tekken 7, Street Fighter, we do have Guilty Gear Strive, KOF, so the 4 main games, like, kind of expected to show up. And then when it comes to the other games, we do have Fighters, or Dragon Ball Fighters, Skullgirls, Granblue Versus, Melty Blood, and lastly, Mortal Kombat. So that's definitely 9 of them, so I think I got it. I mean, I'll just put it up right here, but that's just a bit of a memory exercise for me. But yeah, I mean, the ones that I do want to talk about are, of course, KOF 15. I mean, that's a game I've been sort of like labbing here and there, which has been a pretty interesting experience. I have actually never sat down and labbed a KOF game, and they come from my own home, sort of thing. The closest thing I've done that, I guess, was when I was just messing around with CVS 2 when I was a kid on the GameCube. But that version was kind of broken because the C-stick. But anyway, that was the closest thing I've ever done to KOF at home. KOF has always been an arcade game for me, but that's just kind of where I am with it. I've been labbing with like King of Dinosaurs and blah blah blah, that sort of thing. But I'm glad to see KOF kind of getting this sort of spotlight right now. It's definitely in a pretty good place. It's definitely in a better place than before. It's definitely cool to see that sort of thing happening for KOF. I think it definitely deserves a spot. It's definitely like a spot where you kind of expect KOF to make it in there. I think it's like that sort of spot that KOF has put itself in for at least a long time. So pretty cool to see that the momentum on 15 right now is pretty looking pretty sharp, if I so say myself. Now, the other 2 games that are really like deserving or kind of interesting to see is, well, first off, Granblue Versus. Granblue Versus never had a major offline event because of, well, the pandemic. Right when it came out, the pandemic happened, and the momentum never really happened, unfortunately, aside from like some of the exhibitions and some tournaments showing it off. But other than that, not really. So this is going to be the first major offline tournament now. So this is kind of an interesting thing that Versus is in. So glad to see it. I mean, it was a game that I did play with friends quite a bit. I do like Granblue as a whole, starting from the mobile game and stuff like that, but I do like it where it is right now, and hopefully they'll come out with new stuff now that offline tournaments are going to be a thing, and maybe there's going to be a resurgence of interest, and hopefully there's going to be new content. So Silva, please. But anyway, it's the rival chick from the original game, of course. But anyway, hopefully she makes it in there somehow. Anyway, Grand Blue versus I think definitely deserves a spot, and hopefully that will be a good start of sort of the offline sort of momentum and beyond. Same thing with Melty Blood. I think it definitely deserves a spot too. It definitely was the most surprising one. I did not expect Melty Blood to even be considered for some reason. I think it was just like, I don't know. I just never had Melty Blood on the mind when it comes to Evo. That goes to like, Marvel 3, Ultimate Marvel 3, or something like Soul Calibur 6. That's kind of an Evo game for me, personally. But I think it deserves it because it had a resurgence too, because it got rollback netcode, and that online momentum definitely carried there. So despite the problems, but I think it also deserves it as well. I think it deserves a chance at least at being a Evo main game. I guess for now, because Smash, you never know if it'll come back or not. So we'll have to see about that. But in the time being, I think it deserves a spot. There are plenty of other fighting games that aren't in this tournament, and funny enough, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl could have been one of them. As much as Killer Instinct, well, maybe not, but you know what I mean. There's also Samurai Showdown that's missing. Soul Calibur 6 is missing as well, missing the action. It's it's definitely hard to just like include everything. There are interesting things that are also coming out sort of in between the lines. So besides the 9 main games, I mean, it's great to see them. It's a pretty solid lineup in my opinion. What makes it also interesting for this tournament is that the Sunday finals or Sunday games are going to be like the top most entered games. They're going to pick like the most entered games with the number of entrants, and they're going to gauge it from there. That's going to be how the finals are going to be shaped. At least the final game anyway. So it's not automatically going to be Street Fighter. So it's going to be definitely a toss-up. There has been games that sign off Sunday finals besides Street Fighter, like Melee for example, but we don't have Melee right now, so it's going to be interesting to see who is going to be the most entered game, or what is going to be the most entered game, or participants I should say, or who's going to get the most entries and participants and stuff like that. It's going to be definitely going to be an interesting time to see what will be the top one by the time the tournament rolls around. So definitely looking forward to that. And let's see, anything else? Oh yeah, so the venue space is going to be 50% bigger or something like that, right? So apparently the casual space that's going to be provided is going to be just as big, or if not bigger than all of Combo Breaker, I think, which is crazy. Like, what the hell? But great. I mean, that's awesome. If they have the option and ability to set up their own little side tournament thing. So that's actually great on them for giving them that sort of ability, and they're really trying to be community driven despite the buyout or pretty much partnership, quote unquote, with Sony. So there's still Evo, which is a good sign. And other things about Evo is that they're gonna give out like free water bottles or something like that, and have a lot of water stations to refill those bottles. I think that's really cool too. It is Las Vegas, so I know enough about how they treat their water and their guests, and their water tends to be pretty friggin' expensive. So that's just kind of how it goes. So it's cool to see Evo, kind of like trying to get around that. So especially if they're gonna give out their own bottles, like that's awesome. I think that's also like kind of a cherry on top sort of thing. So I think it's a really good for them, or good on them, to provide that. Now I wonder how precise their security is going to be, because people are going to try to sneak in something other than water in those water bottles, uh, to as they get into Evo. So, well, I guess we'll see about that. Let's see how much they'll try to abuse that, but we'll that's for us to see, I guess. Now, there was one elephant in the room that I do want to address, and this is probably not for everyone. I think maybe some people were fine with it, but I personally found the exhibition matches something to be better left out, in my opinion. I mean, maybe they did it just because there's really not much else to it. Before, like I said, they did character reveals when Joey Queller was on board at the time, and he did the reveals along with like Markman and other people as well. It was something, while neat, I just thought it would probably be better off without it, because I just want to know the lineup, and I do understand that they want to kind of fill out more of the time since there is nothing else to it, but I would much rather just hear about the information regarding the Evo and all that stuff. But I think what the exhibition videos can do as well is to sort of like show off what the game looks like in its prime state sort of thing. Just you get to see what a match of this game looks like. So some people don't know about Grand Blue Versus, so it's cool to see those games kind of shown off to the viewers at the time, and kind of show them like, oh wow, this actually looks pretty interesting. I actually never saw this in a full match sort of thing, and it's kind of an opportunity for them to see. It would kind of make sense maybe for the lesser known games or less popular games maybe, but at the same time, because they're less popular, maybe people are going to likely pull away from it. I don't know, but I think overall, I think it's better off without it, in my personal opinion. But if they're back for next year, then they're back. I mean, that just means that there won't be any reveal information unless they say so, like, oh, we're gonna have some exciting information as well, like character reveals or whatever. They'll probably just disclose it at that point, and that's just kind of, it is what it is, But for me personally, I think it could do without the exhibition matches. Now, importantly, I guess for myself, for the most part, I won't be attending Evo just to see how it goes. But even before then, I've had this sort of thought where I'm like kind of done going to sort of those sort of conventions. Like, I've already been there enough times to like see like what is it like and stuff like that. For the most part, I go to Evo to see people, like friends and all that stuff, and have a good time playing games like in real life and stuff like that. I think once things go back to normal, though, maybe that could change. These things can always change, right? So I guess you just never know. I think for the most part, I'm good on going to Evo. I think I just rather visit the friends, or have friends visit my place, or our place, or whatever. I mean, depends, but I don't know. It's just kind of like I've been there plenty of times, and just a unique situation. So, but for the most part, I'm definitely going to sit this one out just to see how it goes, and if it goes well, I mean, that'd be awesome to see. But I'm not sure even next year if things are way safer by then. I just don't know how where I'm at and how I'm going to feel about going to conventions in general, and it's kind of hard to explain. But other than already been there many times and kind of like just done with it for the most part. But again, things can always change, and maybe I'll just go back once more just as a refresher, and then that's it. Maybe, I don't know. But again, we'll have to see about that, and let's wait and see how Evo actually goes. Like, you just never know, right? So yeah, time can only tell. Other than that, lastly, I do want to like throw out my predictions for like the reveals during Evo. Of course, it's kind of like the E3 for Evo or for fighting games. So there's definitely going to be something for Guilty Gear Strive. I think specifically by then they'll probably reveal something for Season 2. They'll have a Season 2 pass reveal, starting with one character revealed there, and I'm gonna even go further with that, and I'm gonna say Bridget is going to be the first character in Season 2. The last character in Season 1 will probably be revealed during like E3 or sometime before that. I think they're due to announce that to reveal the last character. So there's definitely plenty of time even before, because this is August. This is gonna be August, guys. So there's definitely plenty of time for Guilty Gear to reveal one more character before before Season 1 ends. And so I think by then, by the time Evo comes out, or it is happening, Season 2 is around the corner, and they'll reveal the first character, which is, again, Bridget. It's either Bridget or Dizzy. I'm going to throw that out there too. NRS is probably going to reveal their game or have more info on the NRS fighting game, whether it will be Injustice 3 or Mortal Kombat 12, or maybe something else. I don't know. There's been some interesting rumors surrounding NRS, so we'll definitely have to see what fighting game exactly they have in the works by then. And then, of course, more info on Street Fighter. I think that's definitely going to happen there, if not at E3 or around E3 time before then. And they'll definitely reveal some of the characters, but I'm not going to go there because that's definitely going to be for another video. Tekken 8 could be a thing. Not too sure. KOF, definitely there's going to be some KOF stuff for sure. Probably like reveal the rest of the teams and the characters and stuff like that. More info on Team Southtown, like gameplay footage. That's pretty much it probably for the major ones anyway. Maybe more new content for Dragon Ball Fighters, new content for Grand Blue Versus. But yeah, who knows? But for the major ones, yeah, that's pretty much there. So that's pretty much all I got for Evo. I think it's cool. I hope it succeeds by the time it comes out, of course. I'm definitely going to sit this one out for the most part, and I don't know if I'm going to even do any more Evo for the rest of it. I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely see. Maybe if I feel super just like bored or something like that, or I need something in my life again. Maybe Evo will be something for me again sometime down the road, but for now, that's just kind of where I am with it. So, if you have any comments about Evo 2022, what do you think of the lineup? I think it's a pretty good lineup for this year. But what do you guys think? I want to read that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps out, and I do really appreciate you guys. So, this has been my sort of thoughts on Evo 2022 with their lineup and everything else related to it. So, thank you guys very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao now.